Hello, I am Sharon Wunder, and this is Sharon Jordan.
Hello.
Sharon and Sharon would like to talk to you today a little bit about how the I Ching works in our life. So, Sharon, if you want to share a little bit about the history and why I Ching.
Well, yes, I'd be happy to, Sharon. I Ching, and that is the Ching that you'll see as an option on your Healy. It's brilliant in the fact that thousands of years ago, it came from the Taoist monks who were observing nature, and through that, the wisdom was coming in as far as the seasons. And as we know, life is not linear. It's not like we have this A to B to C. Life is circular. It's cyclic, the phases and the stages. So as they looked at spring, there's this time of robust renewal. We're in spring now, regeneration, all of the things that start coming up, the promise. It's a time of trust. And so without going back into the five element theory, which Sharon and I know only too well, that of what's wood, what's fire, what's earth, what's metal, which would be the air sign if you're looking at indigenous people, or and then obviously water. Everything has water. So if you look at that, and this, like you say, with just kind of the Reader's Digest, for those of you that know what Reader's Digest was, that abbreviation, it is where you are in space and time. And like, oh, I love the fact treasures. It has so much to offer. However, it's so in depth that there's a methodology that we can use with our Healy that's applicable to our everyday life. And it always starts, as Marcus tells us, with intention and the questions that we ask.
The very first thing we really want to do anyway with anything we do in the Healy is create a good affirmational intention, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take some time to really decide that. And we have already kind of come up with that. I've written it down. And it's what does the I Ching need to tell me today, right now, about abundance for my project? So you're going to see percentages just like in our other programs. And I treat this as almost looking at our All Healy program. Um, in when we're using the I Ching in other ways with other forms of books or people reading for us, that's a very common thing. They'll give you one hexagram, they'll give you one treasure to work with. The interesting thing about the Healy in the modern way we get to use this is that we have now five, you see on this, we have five choices now to use with percentages. And Sharon and I have been discussing this a little bit, and we're of the nature of looking at these percentages and going, okay, the first one's 67, the next one's 62. Those are pretty close. Then we go down to 60. I would probably look at that 67% as its highest relevant, right? And I would look and see if that is answering my question today in like wow yes form. It might not. It might be the way I asked the question too. It might be some whole new treasure I didn't even realize I could get from it also. But it's worth looking at. Sharon, any thoughts that I'm missing?
No, the only thing I think that's extremely comprehensive in terms of straight to it and the heart of it. When I do an I Ching reading, I have over the years, just as a little subset, I arrived at it years ago. You could toss coins. You had narrow sticks. For the last quite a few years, I've used an app which has been applicable, and now the Healy. So here we are, and it is definitely appropriate for our modern times.
Yeah.
So one of the things is it's a choice. I do send myself a PDF, and I will use the top priority, but then I have the others. But in terms of points of reference, to give us an even more in-depth understanding.
Right, right. Yeah, and I want to point out these first paragraphs because if people don't understand where to find the PDF, which we're going to show, I also want to explain that the desired state is going to be a copied thing on each thing. That's not really where I'm looking for. That's again that feeling that I've already set in my heart of where I want to be in my abundance. Don't read this first part because I know that's the desired state I've already set in my mind. It's these next bottom sentences that are the most important that are going to help you out. And you can even, after reading the PDF, if you want to learn more about certain subjects. So this one is the creative, they're keen. Do I pronounce it right, Sharon?
Yes, and well, yes, and what is Kian? And what's interesting is that's the exact one that I got when we were setting this up and asking the question of how we could best explain it. So there's so much synchronicity in this. I love this. Oh, this is fabulous. So
And I am a creative, and I find that I pull out the I Ching, Sharon, when I am needing new transformation, and I will usually
mhm,
get creative
mhm, mhm.
as one of my first
Yep.
choices when I do it in even a different way. So I love the fact that I can see it transferring into Healy in a correct, my usual typical patterns. Healy is
Yes.
proof it's picking up on it. So I do
And
appreciate that.
excuse me, go ahead.
No, go
And
ahead.
in adding to that, to kind of flesh it out a little more, the I Ching's always referring to the cosmic sage, which the Healy refers to as the quantum, the all-knowing, if you will. So as we, and the creative, that number one is all solid lines if you were, when you're actually pulling this one up. And when we look about, and it's the wisdom, it's how do we bring that wisdom into our everyday life in terms of decisions, the intuitiveness of it, the innovation of it. And truly wisdom is the creative, it's the creative resource of how we operate and what informs our decisions and the belief systems that we live in. So this is such an opportunity to refer and talk to, if you will, or hear from the cosmic sage, which is the quantum. Again, this desired state, and you've already have it in your heart, is that creative, and you are a creative. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I take those last sentences as what I'm reading as, gosh, do I, do I, does something inside me when I read that last sentence go, oh, yes? Or do I need curiosity and need to learn more about something like that? So the biggest point that I think needs to be made in this is a lot of people don't understand this next little button to show your PDF. This is an amazing thing. I suggest, and I think Sharon does too, that you print this out. Because I think that if you can bring this to, and the way you're going to do that is by going here, and then you're going to go, where do I want to print it? Each phone's going to be different. Then I'm going to print that out. And there it goes. So the reason why this is important to me to print this out is because if you look and see, look at that. One, it's too small to read, right? But the other one is I would grab a highlighter or a pen or something, or it's time to start journaling with this and to
Yes, yes.
connect it to, does this apply, or is this an affirmation I need to rewrite on my fridge to see as I
Mm-hmm,
work through this? Does this help me make a decision for my
mm-hmm,
project? All these things to me start sparking things for inspiration. And you can't do that with
mm-hmm,
such tiny print. And so you're going to keep going down. I mean, that's just the creative. That's just the first one. So
mm-hmm,
there's where we're
mm-hmm.
talking about the lines and the symbolism. And you can look
Yes,
these up if you want to learn more. There's so many books and references, but look at what Healy's already provided us
yes,
in being able to do that. And so I think, being able to show you how that is applicable, um, I just want to run that through and show you. And then you can choose to run the programs and get the same frequency to match that up and have that in your body system, in your awareness, in your environment, in your information field. And
your
I
ethic,
think
yeah. You,
that's the exciting part of the I Ching with the Healy, don't you think, Sharon?
well, I agree. And what we're looking at is that etheric body is processing and downloading and receiving all of that. As we were talking a little bit earlier, the cosmic sage is always giving what's called mind flashes. And those are those little intuitive hits. And they're always linked in to, again, what the quality of the question, the affirmation, the intention, the intentional integrity of it all, and being open to that, because it also is broadcasting. Others are asking those same questions. This will be unique to what you have, not only in your belief system, but in your awareness and consciousness. So as we bring that forward, again, I loved what you said, Sharon, in that alignment. It helps in terms of that's what you receive. And you have that confidence. As you were reading that, you said, I already know this. I know this is where I am. That resonated with me. I've got chills, because in that confidence, we have clarity. And in that wisdom is where we have our greatest creative source. And then receiving those downloads, understanding, and getting again those mind flashes, and then acting upon them. So here was your call to action, and you've set up something quite brilliant with this. So I'm going to defer to you, and I thank you. That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
No, thank you. And I think that's the fun part of meeting and collaborating with each other, our Sharon and Sharon gang, because we I learned from you and hope that I can
I
share.
learned from you. Oh, yes.
And I think one of the things, like in our introduction, we weren't able to explain, we come from a feng shui background. And in coming with a feng shui background is why we can bring the I Ching to connection for you today, because the feng shui connection is, it came from the I Ching. It came from the hexagram to be able to take these things that are here and put it out into our environment. And it's all symbolism, and it plays out very well. Like I love the beauty of that in the organization of this methodology, right? And it's
Exactly.
that piece of being able to, we are feng shui practitioners. And so we're able to take that to the next step and say, okay, you need some more help with maybe a limiting belief that keeps you stagnant. What do you need to shift in energy, not just here, but also in your environment? And so, I would end this with, if you guys have any more curiosity to how this works or how you'd like to apply this, whether it's in mind, body, spirit, or space, we're here for you. And I have, my email is hello@SharonWunder, WUNDER.com. And you can connect with me. You can connect with me. I can connect to Sharon if you have questions based on foundations and history of the I Ching. She's more than happy to connect that with us. But I am here for you to help you out with your next stages, whether it's mind, body, spirit, or space with the Healy, which is just such an amazing device to be able to
Mm.
have to start conversations for ourselves and for outward. So thank you so much for enjoying. Sharon, thank you for spending time with me today to sit and talk
Thank you,
about it.
Sharon. You are a Wonder Woman.
There are so many people who want to know why the I Ching is relevant on the Healy, and I feel like we can really explain that and help that out and help apply it to everyone's life who wants to make changes. So it
Absolutely.
is the book of changes.
It is. It is. It's an oracle. It's divination. And for our modern day world, it is timeless.
Yeah.
That's what, with the sage wisdom it provides. So I'm just in awe. And then, of course, the people that Marcus has brought on board and their wisdom. And so to have this community, we are so blessed. We are
Right.
so blessed. And to use these tools for what they are, and they are to enrich our life. Life is experiential. So that enrichment and that engagement and helping each other along with what kind of knowledge base we have is absolutely gifts and treasures. Definitely treasures.
And you are all treasures, as are you, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
if you have any questions, just connect with us. We're happy to help. So thank you.
Thank you.